besties, it's Krystal, your Leo bestie, back with another video. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. For this week, I am going to be moving on, but I am going to stop numbering the steps, you could say, because what I'm going to talk about now is more of the actual journey me to the belief systems that I am in today. And it's going to be more of discovering who I am and discovering God, discovering more of myself. And so if you guys are more interested in that, then I hope that you guys stay along. As I started doing all the steps that I posted prior, it was very mainly to heal my inner child, to heal those inner wounds that I had. If you are new here, I am posting the steps of how I healed my inner child and really the steps that I took to be able to get me to a place where I am able to talk about my emotions and also regulate my nervous system. So if you are interested, go ahead and go back to those videos if that resonates with you in any single way. This video and going on, it's going to be more of the self-discovery journey that I went into. Because after I got to all those steps up to the meditation, it was more of like starting to realize and starting to believe more of different things. And what I mean by that is I think it was like my second or third video, I mentioned that I wanted to talk to you guys about my spirituality and what that looked like for me. So I wanted to dive into that, and I believe going forward, it's going to be more of my journey and really how I was able to get to the place I am today. And then if you guys still want to follow along, I would love you guys to stay. If you were here for inner child healing, this all ties into it because at the end of the day, it's going to make more sense as I go through the videos. But at the end of the day, it's really looking and finding your soul and being able to be okay and have your soul be able to shine. I learned that my soul was just really dug in deep, really hiding because of everything that I had gone through in my childhood. So that was really a big, big, major part of the journey. And I hope that if you guys still want to reference those, and I will still be touching about certain things, it doesn't mean that I was done healing my inner child. I still do it to this day. It just means that the steps that I took to get me down the road, down my journey, down my path, are starting to look a little bit different and they start to look different. I mentioned in here the video where I talked about me grew up Catholic and I always had those beliefs. And I mean, I wasn't very, very religious, but I was part of the church. I wouldn't say I started being more religious and more into the church. Probably when I was in high school, middle school, when I met one of my good friends in high school. Her parents and I think like her family were a little bit more into the church, and so they would go frequently, and that's when I started going more. But the point that I'm saying that is because I always grew up with those beliefs of being Catholic. And when I started my healing journey, I found, I'll kind of sum up that video, is that I found that Catholic wasn't working for me. There was just something that wasn't it didn't feel like home to me. And for me, that's something that's huge. I love feeling like home, something that makes me feel safe. And so when I started going to the Catholic church, it wasn't feeling right for me. And so then that's when I moved into the Christian church. And then again, it didn't work. And then after that is when I really got into just let me just pray to me and let me just see what it is. Like, I know that there's different religions out there, but right now I think I just need a break and I need to focus on me. And so I just started praying, just doing the regular things at home and really trying to find God without the meaning of a church. And that is when, after like my healing journey, and I started meditating, and I kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, like I feel like I'm getting the hang of this. I'm starting to break habits. I'm starting to change behaviors. And then it kind of came to the point where to me, it felt like God or the universe was like, there's more. There's still a whole nother door that you haven't opened. And why I say that is because everywhere I would go, I would run into a Buddha statue. Everywhere I would go, like I would see Buddha everywhere. And if you guys don't know who Buddha is a religious teacher that has taken meditation to a whole nother level to awaken. Not here to teach you about Buddha. What I'm here for is to tell you about how Buddha came into my life and the lessons that Buddha taught me. After I started seeing Buddha everywhere, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to look into it. Like, what is Buddha? What is the belief? Is it like I just had so many questions, and me always questioning everything. I'm like, let me just look into him and see what it is that I need to know. And so once I started looking into Buddha, I like immediately fell in love. And what I mean by that is his belief system and everything Buddha is about just spoke to me. And it spoke to me in a way of me changing my beliefs and me changing who I was. It just really, really spoke to me and spoke to my soul. And it was something that was like, this is so true. Like, and I was like, why have I not learned these things to think like this? And that's when I started getting more into learning. And what I want to share today is the main things that got me to start thinking like Buddha and being able to change my belief system to something different because the one I had wasn't working out for me. I told you guys that along your journey, you're going to have to unlearn a lot of patterns and relearn a lot of new things. And for me, this was something that I learned that really stuck to me, and I had a big belief behind it. And my spiritual journey doesn't stop here. Just by the way, it doesn't stop here, it keeps going. This was just the beginning of my spiritual path. So I'm going to share with you guys some beliefs from Buddha that got me to really open my eyes of like, that is so true. And hoping that if you're watching this, you follow those beliefs or it gets you thinking about something or it gets you to look at what your beliefs are because at the end of the day, we're all learning. And if you can take something from Buddha to your life and implement it and it makes it a little bit better, then that is what it's here for because we're all learning based off of what is out there to what aligns to ourselves. First thing, when I looked up Buddha and it was like the very first quote that came up to me, and I'm going to read it. And it's people suffer because they are caught in their views. As soon as we release those views, we are free and we don't suffer anymore. So that to me was like, I don't know, it was just like a big awakening of like we people cause their own suffering. And I believe it's a big mindset thing. And to me at that time, I was like, that makes so much sense because as I told you guys too, if you're keeping up with these videos, when I went to my life coach, Kenny, he told me that I was causing all that pain, all that suffering upon myself. And so when I read this, it just kind of aligned with me of like, I am creating the suffering is in my head. And a lot of that suffering for me came from my childhood that I was still carrying. So when I read that and I was like, I love this guy. That is a moment I'm like, I love this. One of the things that I really loved about Buddha is like after I read that quote, I'm like, I need to dig more deep into the belief system and who he is and what it's about. And so when I started looking into him, his story is he was living around, he was a regular human like me and you, and he started wanting to know the meaning of all the suffering that was going on around him. He was he went to on his own journey to discover why humans suffer because he saw so much suffering around him, and that's where he like decided to separate himself from his family to really discover what life is and life meaning and discover why people suffer. And that's when he came to the term called a dharma, which means a cycle of rebirth and birth and releasing karma and releasing trauma. When you release all that, you go into, and I've mentioned this before, guys, is that you go through a rebirth process of once you let things go, you go through that rebirth. You're reborn, and now it's time to learn new things. I'm gonna just go through there was a video that I found that I just want to sum up for you guys, and it's 10 lessons that Buddha is about. And for him, he talks about this place that he gets to and that he got to through meditation, and it's called the nirvana, which is the meaning of ending the suffering. Number one is the middle way. And what he says with this is that the root of suffering is desires. And this one spoke to me because back then when I started my healing journey, I had to really separate myself from my things. Because for me, my things were what made me. I looked outside of myself to get validation of what I needed. For example, like the material things. Like I would look at material things and be like, that is who I am. Like for example, like a Gucci belt or a Gucci bag. Like that, I let those things define who I was because they were desires. And so for me, I learned that a Gucci bag doesn't make me any better. And these material things that I have an attachment to don't define who I am. The person that I am is me internally, and discovering that is amazing. The second thing is to adopt a mind view, and this is one of the things that he says is don't get upset at people or situations. Both are powerless without your reaction. Reactions create our reality, and I have said that before because of these learnings. With this as well is that he is a true believer that our thoughts create our reality. And during that time, that's when I really started paying attention to what I was thinking. Because one of the things that Buddha says is start questioning why you think the way that you think. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to a belief system. And that belief system is what is creating your reality. Talking about like our belief system and talking about that, one of the big major things that he says is that our past does not define us and does not define who we are. Once you're able to get through those past traumatic experiences, the way that you can shape your present and your future to reflect good into your life, because now you're thinking from beliefs that are new. And then you're not going to keep repeating past mistakes because now you have a new belief system. One of the things that he talked about is live every day like it's your last. That one is really good because to Buddha, there's only the present moment. There was no yesterday, there was no tomorrow. It's just here, now. This is the only moment that you get. So live it like it's your last day. This one for me was really big because I was always so worried. And I think this just came from a belief system, seeing it as I grew up. It's just always worried about money. And for me, it's like if I died tomorrow, what's that worry? So it's like I don't worry about that anymore because I don't even know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. It's just this present moment. And if I get that moment tomorrow, then guess what? That is a blessing. And that is what Buddha is trying to teach, is that live in this present moment. In this moment, what can you control? And for me, that was really big because it was like, what can you control in this moment? It's like, I can sit here and worry about this. I can sit here and worry about all these other things. But in this moment, what can I control? And my answer is always me. I can control me in this moment. I can control what I'm doing at this moment. I am sitting recording a video, and that is what I am doing. The other things that he mentions, which this would be number 5, is great things are results of small habits. And this one I've talked about, it was probably my very, very first video of how our habits create our reality. So he talks about being aware of your habits and calling yourself out for these small little habits. Like for me, I'm going to tell you guys, like I still work through these things. And the thing I love about making these videos is that they are reminders for myself, because I've been wanting to go on jogs and runs, and I'm always like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And so that's a habit that I'm creating for myself. So now I'm aware of it, and I'm like, okay, there's no tomorrow. There was no yesterday. I didn't do it yesterday either. So what are you gonna do in this moment? I'm gonna go for a run, and I'm gonna do it, guys. I will give you guys an update that I am going to go on a run. It's just this AZ heat is nothing to mess with. So I will probably go later today. He says as well with the habits is that it's okay to fail. I think many times we don't want to try new things because we are afraid to fail. So just remember, you are going to fail. Like look at me. How many times have I failed of wanting to go for a run and I haven't? So just know that you're going to be okay. And the more that you tell yourself you're going to be okay, and I say this in my video, guys, the more that you find safety within yourself and within your body, the safer that you will feel trying new things. I go through all 10, but in my notes, that is all I wrote down. So I think those are the ones that like stuck out to me, because as I'm telling you guys these things, I have to like step back to when I did all of this. It's just like a reminder, how I said, for me, because I'm just going down the steps and the path that I took in my journey, and just retelling them for you guys in these videos. So I hope that you guys, every time you watch this, I hope that anytime you guys watch one of these videos, you guys gain something new, because that is what I'm here for. I'm here to just give you guys a vision of what it looks like to be able to get to the place that I am, the learning to change my mindset. And it's just a learning process. And I think that that's what makes the journey so fun, because you get to challenge yourself every single day. So I will leave you guys there. And again, my spiritual journey doesn't end there. Buddha was just like a little something that kept following me. And I'm like, I need to look into this. And one thing I learned too, I will tell you guys, is that if you guys see like the Buddha statues, there's not one Buddha, there's a lot of Buddhas, which I didn't know before this. If you knew, that's amazing. If you guys have anything that you guys want to tell me about Buddha and that I haven't learned, or let's start a conversation. I did start this support group that you guys can join, just to talk about anything you have going on. But every second Friday of every month, from 7 to 8. I'm still seeing if the time works. As Friday, it was actually really good because me and the other girl that were a part of it, we were both able to release a lot of things, just help guide each other through these processes. And it felt really nice. And it felt nice seeing her so relieved after she was able to release. So if you guys want to be a part of those, let me know, and I would love to have you guys there. And so the next one will be October 13th from 7 to 8. If anything changes, I will update it. I do post it on my Instagram, so if you guys don't follow me there, go and follow me. I post it as well on my TikTok, but just keep up with me, guys. I am on TikTok, I am on Instagram, and here on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'm just going to say a quick prayer and disconnect for today's episode. I would just say thank you, God, for allowing me to record this video. Thank you to Buddha and his teachings, and I hope that we keep learning from him and from you, God. I ask you to bless us all. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you guys so much. And remember, every single day is a new opportunity to grow. I love you guys, and I will see you guys on the next. Bye.